we will start with roll call.
Okay, Saint Laurent,
Present.
Lee,
Here.
Hutnick,
Here.
McLeod,
Here.
Tar, absent, Bozansky, absent, Rose here. 5, we have a quorum.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the November 6th meeting minutes.
We gotta do the agenda, approval of the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. And now approval of the meeting minutes from November's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Lee.
Lee or Marty?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Public forum. If there's anyone that would like to speak on any topic for the board, you're welcome to. Okay, with no public forum, we will move on to financial reports.
Okay. So total bills presented for approval are $14,505.91. And our total deposits this month were $21,793.46 and interest of $121.56.
All right, and then we have approval of bill payments.
So there's one check we actually are voiding, right, Deborah, is the Village of Romeo check?
I did.
Okay, so that's on here as a bill to be paid, but this happened, the voiding
Before.
happened after these were printed, so just so the board knows, we're not gonna cut that check for $183.97.
Do you want to make a note for that, for follow-up?
Yes.
What was the specific check number? What did you just say?
Where's the one?
It's the,
Check 3254.
for the village.
It's the first one in the, checks to be paid 3254 Village of Romeo for $183.97.
Yeah.
So that one's been voided and is not going to be part of the total bill pay. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Okay, motion by Deborah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Lee.
Do I need to say with the exception of the check that we voided? Or I don't need to say that?
I think
For the
because we
motion?
noted it.
Yeah, I think it's noted and then,
Okay.
yeah,
All
it
right.
should be okay. Okay, we can take roll.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 5-0.
Okay. Next on the agenda is funding requests. The board has not received any funding requests this month. So we will move on to unfinished business. The Four County Community Foundation lease. Danielle?
Yes, we received a lease proposal from Fort County, and it is off with our attorneys right now, being reviewed. It is also with PDCU, kind of at the same time for them to take a look at it. On the surface, everything looks great to us, just kind of going through it. So hopefully, we expect an approval from both parties, I don't know, hopefully in this coming week. And then we can let Fort County know that we're all good and have them do a final approval with their board.
So we should be able to essentially have a signed lease by January and them in the offices with
Mhm.
us?
Mhm.
Great. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to 2024 floral contract.
Okay, I'll take that one. That is in here because last month it was discussed and it was mentioned there were a few things we wanted to make sure were clarified as far as the contract, to make sure that some questions that came up previously hopefully don't come up again next year. So we've kind of clarified some of the questions that we went through this year. That's sort of issue one, and that being said, you now all have a copy of what at the top is called Year 2024 Downtown Romeo Floral Streetscape Contract. And it is taken obviously from the RFP, and there are some highlighted spots in here, which are gray because it wasn't printed in color instead of yellow. And those are kind of just addressing some of the questions that had come up. So Deborah and
Yes, I was gonna say, do you mind if I clarify real quick?
met about this, and these are sort of, again, they're in here to clarify questions that some of us had already had. So that's issue number one, and then issue number two is on page 7, but do you want to discuss something else first?
Well, I would just want to talk about the RFP that had gone out, and then the contract would be written to that. These previous templates that we've been using, or previous contracts, are too vague, and so I wrote up a statement of work, and then that's where some of these issues came up. I think those statements of work are really important, and so I made it into a template that can be used for future contracts to make sure that every single task that has to be performed is there stated, and then we put the name of the vendor we're proposing is doing that work, and then that's when people can come back and go, oh, I didn't think that was me, I thought that was them, kind of a thing. So that's something I think we should always use going forward, and maybe even just keep enhancing it if anything ever does come up, so we can avoid this.
So that template that Deborah's referring to is not in this packet. That's something which we have sent to the various contractors, now that we're using multiple contractors, as you say, so that each one knows where's their area of responsibility and what are their expectations. This contract is pretty much all encompassing, with the exception of the pricing, which we'll discuss after you have any questions here.
When it refers to a rose garden, what is that referring to?
Rose Garden, actually, we should scratch that off. That was removed when they redid the park.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was never, there was a couple other spots that was listed, I took it out, obviously I missed that one on page 1. And on that note, where it says to be determined, the reason for that is because the park area around it is new to previous years. At this time, I don't know what we are allowed to work on and do, where we can add and where we can't. So I wanted to list it in the contract so we can do something, but we have to determine what approvals we have to do that.
Do you mean because it's village property?
Right.
Okay.
It's just different than.
Just a gray
For
area.
example, the rose garden was torn out, there were some trees torn out, so
Mhm.
the specifics regarding the way the park was no longer apply.
Mhm.
Any other questions on the, not counting the price list, I need to address separately? I'll point out, in addition to maybe what's previously been seen, there's always been a Part 4 in all of these contracts. There's now a Part 4A. And the reason for that is, if you look at it, it's self-explanatory. That was an addition this year, which was one thing that caused a little bit of confusion on the fly. So 4A now includes mums. 4 is left in there in case we don't do the mums section, or if in future years we don't do the mums. But the scope of work is listed for both 4 and 4A. If I can continue unless there's questions. If we can go to page 7, which is the pricing. This is the main reason why this had to come back onto this agenda, because it involves the financial end of it. We did approve the pricing for 2024, Part 3, which as listed on here, if you're looking at it, is $19,500. At the time, we did not have clarification and we did not discuss or approve Part 2, 3A, nor 4A. So I do need to, or I'm gonna suggest that we approve those three additional parts tonight. And if so, we can move forward full steam ahead.
So what about part 1?
Part 1 is another contractor,
Okay,
which I can tell you about it. You're correct, it's not on this exact sheet, but it will be on his sheet. We did approve that as well.
okay.
Yeah, that's the grower.
Yeah, the grower, we did approve. And that figure, if I'm not mistaken, is $16,000.
I believe so, but I don't know how to put my hands on it
Yeah,
quickly.
it's right here. So that one we had already approved.
Yeah.
I didn't put it on this sheet just so that we could be very clear what we're looking at for tonight, because it involves one single vendor, if that makes sense. So we had to add in from previous meeting, Part 2, which involved essentially the installation. And if you're looking at that sheet, there was actually a $200 reduction from this year. Main reason for that is hardware will not have to be installed, since it will remain up, because we did a different program for the winter decor or holiday decor. 3A was clarified. It actually didn't change, but it was clarified. It's as needed. And under the description, we do receive 2 applications of fungicide. Any beyond 2, there will be a application charge, a separate bill, $250 per application. And again, if you go back to the contract, that application must be approved by the DDA representative.
So for item 2, the hanging and the installation of all the hardwares and planted hanging baskets is already up because of so that it won't be rehung again.
Right, it's
The hardware will be up. So there will be new baskets that will need to come get to the poles and installed onto the pole.
Got it, okay.
The actual nuts and bolts and brackets.
Is staying where
are
put.
staying up.
Okay,
And number 4, John, the $3,700, that's 4 and 4A are inclusive of that 3,700?
Yeah, actually, that 3,700 should slide down to the 4A.
Oh, okay.
There will, based on this contract, there will not be a 4, it will be a 4A.
Okay,
That misaligned.
okay, thank you.
okay, and then the flowers, well, it's a different contract, so I won't bring that up now. So we need to make a motion?
So shy of any more questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 Downtown Romeo Floral Streetscape Contract Parts 2, 3A, and 4A.
Okay, so we have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second, so any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, I would like to clarify for the record what that dollar amount is so that it's not
Sure.
missed. So I'm gonna add into the motion the dollar amount of $5,400.
Do I need to second it again, or?
Sure.
Okay, I second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any additional comments or questions before we take roll?
No.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Putnick,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 5-0.
Thank you. Next item is the marketing RFP. So this was a huge, huge response we got on the marketing proposals that we received. We went out through BidNet and we got quite a few bids, which was really nice to see that it was generating that. You know, kind of, they span the market on price and what different, you know, places we're including. So essentially went through and we just did a big comparison across the board. And we've kind of come up with the one that we want to go with. So, and I can kind of go over what it includes with you real quick. So, what we asked for was, review of our logo, and potentially in updating it, making sure that it's the logo that we want to move forward with. And then also maintaining our SEO, our website, any blogging that we wanted to do, social media, doing graphic posts for up to 3 different platforms. So it would be like our website, Facebook, Instagram, however we want to do that. And then additional web development hours. So we got really a lot of great proposals, but the one that I am presenting forward is the one I think that most meets our needs, and it's somewhere that we've had a history with, so they really understand and have been working on ours. So the proposal is for Verona Creative Marketing, and it would include what I've explained at an amount of $1,498 per month. And then there is an additional one-time of $1,956, which would be on the logo creating at least 5 logos to select from, up to 4 rounds of edits to narrow down designs, custom color scheme, brand guide. So one of the neat things that this proposal was doing is they were going to work with us on creating a color scheme and a brand guide for downtown. So as we are working with, or we're sponsoring events and being able to get that same theme through all of Romeo's marketing. So that is my proposal, is that we accept the Verona Creative Marketing proposal. Going forward, this would be for 2024 at a one-time fee of $1,956 for the logo and custom marketing design, and then a monthly fee of $1,498 for website, SEO, blogging, the 4 to 8 monthly social media posts, and our web development hours. So that is the motion. If there's a second, then we can go into discussion.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a second by Lee. Any questions or comments before we go to vote?
How many did you receive?
About 20, 22.
Who would be what?
How many did you receive?
About 20, 22.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would be your second choice, just out of curiosity?
I didn't bring a second choice, but there were quite a few, quite
Yeah.
honestly. I basically did like an Excel spreadsheet, and we listed what we asked for, pricing, proximity to the DDA, and then I chose one. There was a lot of great ones. I'm not gonna, not gonna lie. There was a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
Did they seem to fall within the budget that we had expected? Or were they all over the place?
all over the map.
Yeah?
There were some that I was, gosh, it was shocking what some of the prices were. And there was a lot that were reasonable. This one did meet on, and others did as well, hit on every one of the requirements that we asked for. But also did some extras with the color scheming for the, and the rolling out a kind of a Romeo theme throughout. They've helped, they're willing to do taglines, business card creation, a lot of different things as well. And there is a history with working with them. So when we talk about that, Tribal Knowledge, this is a company that has, been handling our website. And so it would be a smooth transition for them to
transition, yeah.
keep running with it.
For sure.
So would the work that they're currently doing roll into this package?
Correct.
Work they're currently doing, pricing would no
Would
longer
now become a
apply?
part of this.
Where does this price, you say you don't have any of the other proposals, where does this fall compared to the others there were?
This was on the low to mid end. But some of the ones that were priced lower did not have all of the components. We had some that were priced lower that from out of, even out of state where, are they really knowing Romeo and what we want to post? Or is it more of just a generic, whereas this one has, is a local,
Was there a lower one that did incorporate all of the requests?
no.
So this was the lowest
This
one
was,
that had? to your
well, let me not,
satisfaction?
I don't want to, don't quote me on that.
To
It
your
was
satisfaction,
to,
all the
yes,
requests.
to where I feel comfortable with that we're gonna get exactly what we're looking for. Yeah,
Do you have, so I don't, a copy of the budget that has the amount in the budget for this marketing?
Marketing fees, we budgeted 20,000?
so, yep, we budgeted 20,000 for marketing, and this would be, well, we'd be quite below because this would only be going for half a year, but even if we extended it for a year, this would be coming in at 18,000.
And well, two concerns from me. We would essentially spend the whole yearly budget, so there would be no additional funds.
For what?
For what?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen this. I don't know what else we may come up with throughout the year that we would need to
Well,
do
when we created
but,
this specific line item, we created it for this,
specifically for that. and
specifically
only
for
this.
this,
Yeah,
yep.
that category is actually like the marketing plan. It's not all the advertising you would do for events or whatever.
And then my second concern would be, is this really something we need to put into place right now? My point being, we're a very lean board. We are, in my opinion, still kind of getting going, since we've been revamped, and a lot of ideas, a lot of great ideas, a lot of discussions we've had. Are we ready for this right now? Not only, with our program, what we're gonna even have them do right out of the gate. The only thing I've heard is a logo design, and also financially, is it the right move?
So, okay,
Those would be
well,
my
just,
two concerns.
just to respond to those. Financially, yeah, I mean, we decided back in July that we wanted to put this in place and allocate these funds. As far as, are we a lean board? Yeah, we're a lean board. And that was one of the reasons that having a professional come in and do some of the things that we can't do, is a smart, in my opinion, is a smart decision. These are professionals in marketing. Right now, we have Danielle and myself, managing our Facebook page, and
And you're doing
it's-
so well.
yes, we're superstars.
I would say that I do marketing for a living, but not on this level.
Yeah.
And while we both have full-time jobs, so, the DDA Facebook page is secondary to obviously our full-time jobs. So having somebody that's dedicated to this account, that's what they're doing. They're proposing what that advertising should be looking like, what that marketing should be looking like. Branding is so important. And when people see a consistent, constant posting over and over from the Facebook page, we get more traction that way. So that would be my feeling on why it's needed right now, especially to your point on being a lean board. This would take a good chunk of some of the stuff that we're trying to keep up with while also trying to do all the other things off of our plate and having professionals do it. I think it's a good thing to do now.
And with this service, we have spoken, and they would be presenting everything to us a month ahead of time for us to approve, but they're doing the work. And we're, as a board, saying, yes, we agree with these posts. They said they'd be happy to come to our meetings to make the presentation, and say, okay, here's the next month's social media post, and work with us on that way. I think, and I agree, we are a lean board, but we still have to do what we're here to do as a DDA. And they would do a lot of even just target marketing that we are not at the ability to do. So we're making sure that those ads are hitting the right people in the right demographics.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is this marketing targeted at this, the village, the county, the state, tri-state area? I mean, how broad are we going? Because we kind of talked about we needed a further reach to get more traffic.
And that's where this would come in. So those would be some of the conversations
How
once we
broad is
sat down
that?
with them is, where is our marketing coming from? Or where is our clientele? Who do we want to hit? Is there an age demographic? Is there a county? So that when we're placing these ads, we're hitting, people between this age group and this specific
Right.
location, and they're getting hit with those ads. What we're doing right now is fine, but it's hitting the people that like our Facebook page.
Right, and I
So-
think with like the antique mall,
Yeah.
that brings in people from far reaches, and so I think we want to kind of
We wanna get
market
to
into
them,
that.
yes.
And get that going bigger as well, because mostly what we have to offer downtown is eating.
Yeah.
So if you get people coming in for antiques or something like that, that's gonna help. So I was just hoping that we're taking a bigger
Oh, a much-
geographic view.
Absolutely. And I think what we're doing now is, we're a bit reactionary. There's an event and we post an ad
Right.
for it.
Right.
This would be much more proactive, going out there and targeting large areas to bring people in, shop Romeo, come to Romeo for different events, but just at a much bigger scale than we are able to do.
I agree with you. I mean, Verona, we are familiar with them and they're familiar with us. Is it possible to maybe table this to the next meeting, have them come in, or even have the top 3 come in and
Pitch.
talk to us, huh? Yeah.
To pitch to us, you
And
mean?
we can negotiate or.
Well, I don't think that's, we can't, I don't know that we're gonna have top 3 come in to a meeting. I don't know that that's how we should work it with an RFP. They've been asked to submit their proposal, and we don't wanna go back and let people change their pricing after they hear other people's proposals.
Right.
So at this point, we have a motion. All I can say is this is something that back in July, the board budgeted money for and said we wanted to do. It's definitely within our purview of a DDA board, and what we should be doing. So, we've done the work, and now we need to either make a decision.
Andrea, just a point of clarification, is this to run all of 2024?
Well, it's a monthly amount. So when we originally said it, we obviously budgeted for this fiscal year.
Right.
So
We're already done with half of
technically,
it.
we're already done with half of it. So we haven't spent a huge chunk of this. So
Yeah.
this would take us through July, and then we'd have to budget it
Okay.
going forward. So
Okay.
it's, essentially would be 6 months, and if it goes well, then we would roll out the next 6 months.
So your number is through the end of the fiscal year, not the calendar year for
Well,
2024?
it's a monthly quote.
Right, but I mean the motion,
I can make it,
or how did you?
I can make a motion through this fiscal year, which would be 1, 4, 98, well, it would still be the same, it'd be $1,498 per month for the marketing program, and a one-time $1,956 for the, all the work that goes into the creation of review, edits, color schemes, and the brand guidelines for downtown businesses.
Is there any advantage to extending it through the end of the calendar year in 2024, or does it make more sense to just do the fiscal year? Kind of kick the tires? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know which way makes more sense. If there's an economy to going all the way through the end of 2024,
Well, if we don't have an approved budget, can we
Yeah.
do that?
so you can just do through the
We could
fiscal
do
year?
through July, and then if it, that allows us to, when we redo the budget for next year, do we want to continue with this line item?
Right.
But I mean, we right now have zero marketing for the downtown area. I think it's beyond necessary to move forward with this. And it's definitely, like I said, it's within our purview of what we should be doing is exactly this.
Right.
So is this a month to month then?
Mhm.
Are we saying?
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, next month, we changed our mind. My last point is, I completely, 100% agree with the points made, Danielle talking about you're putting time in and what we are doing right now is difficult to maintain. I guess just my only, I'll reiterate, my only concern is with the fiscal commitment, are we ready? So
I mean,
that's
I think
my
that
only point.
we have a responsibility to spend the money that we're collecting for the benefit of the DDA district.
Right. But we're gonna hire somebody to promote, but then I guess another way for me to state my opinion is, what are we promoting? You're gonna go promote, what are they gonna promote?
Downtown Romeo, shopping
Wow.
Romeo, I mean, that's the whole idea
Well,
of the
that was,
marketing
that was
program.
kind of my point, was if you can, you'll have to begin with the antiques mall, and, yeah, I mean, you gotta begin with what you have. But
Yeah.
if you don't start marketing, you
No one's gonna come, I mean,
won't
we
be able
can't
to
just
grow.
market one-off events.
Right.
That doesn't create a sustainable downtown.
As a business development person, I mean, I would be the first one to say, when you're in lean times, the worst place to cut your budget is promotion, because promotion is what brings in people coming in, brings in revenues. I mean, that's like, the golden rule is don't cut your future.
I
Alright.
I heard a motion, I'm sorry, who's second?
It might have been me.
Leighton,
I think I did.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
So if there's any other discussion before we go to vote?
One more, sorry. So
Yeah,
is
no,
this
of
for,
course.
did I hear this was for after 6 months we can reevaluate, or is it a year? I
So
thought I
I'm
heard
gonna make
something
the
different.
motion to take us through the end of this fiscal year, which will go through July.
July,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we would have to redo our budget for next year anyway.
Right, okay.
So then we can decide what we wanna do.
I think that's a reasonable amount
I
of
agree.
time to feel like it's going well, or it's not going anywhere, or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
McLeod,
yes.
Rose is a no, 4-1 passes.
All right, so now we are on to new business, Michigan class investment. Danielle, this was
You want me to
your
take this
item?
one?
Yep.
Yes. So I don't know if any of you saw the last village meeting, but they approved put some money into Michigan Cooperative Liquid Asset Security System, Michigan class. And President Poznansky spoke about the conference that they had gone to, and Treasurer Miller, and how most of the municipalities that were there had indicated that it was a no-brainer. We needed to do it, and that the DDA could do it. And basically, we would put some money in there, and then it's accruing interest at a greater rate. And basically, again, like I said, it was a no-brainer. So we pulled this information down. I've included it in your packet. We're gonna move forward to get some more information. We have to come up with an investment policy. So there's some steps here that we need to take, before we can even apply for this or go down this road. But I wanted you to have this. If there are any questions or concerns or anything, you can state them now or bring them to myself or Andrea. So as we start down this road, you know, we can make sure we're addressing any issues or concerns or questions that anybody has. But I think it's, you know, based on what I heard at that village meeting and what Treasurer Miller was saying, sounds like a no-brainer that we should be doing it.
And so, yeah, so it's a pretty like simple investment program. Using this kind of, you know, just for the people that are here, investing $1 million. If you started on September 1st, you would have earned, of 2023, we would have earned another $4,500. So it's just truly just an investment, and being able to use DDA funds to create more funds.
And what is the liquidity if you need to spend it for a budgeted item or something? Is it
What
a
do they talk about?
30-day or?
It's yours to use. You know,
There are no fees.
There's no fees for pulling
Okay.
out. You can choose, and from what Treasurer Miller was saying, we can decide that amount month by month. We can pull back, we can add more, so it's,
Okay.
yeah. She said that she was at a class or a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and several other, leaders in different communities were like, why isn't,
Yeah,
Why
why
aren't
are you not involved
Yeah.
with this? So,
Okay.
it's definitely a new and big step for the DDA, but I think it's something that we should do some research on, and, if anyone, Danielle and I are happy to answer questions. Treasurer Miller would probably be,
Yeah.
really good to answer questions, because the village offices are moving forward with it, so they've jumped on board this, so.
Who did? I'm sorry.
The village.
The
The village?
Mhm.
So we can pull and add at any time
Yep.
from this?
Yep,
Yep, it's independently audited. So like I said, there's,
a
information
lot of
here.
info there, but
Read
So does
through.
it just show up kind of as a fund in our financials? Like as if you had, bought into a CD or something like that? I mean, it's just a financial instrument?
I would
and-
assume so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know like really what it would look like, but yeah, I'm assuming there's a line item that tells
Okay.
us what we've earned, and there it
Okay.
is. Okay, any questions on the Michigan class investments? All right, open account at PDCU.
Can I have my budget back?
Sure.
My paperwork. Okay, so, this was brought to the board, previously about opening a bank account at PDCU. Obviously, we're all aware, that we have a relationship with PDCU. It's been a great relationship. Anytime we need anything and they are
They're
open,
fabulous.
and if they're not open, they get us anything and everything whenever we ask. Emily is fantastic there, Carla, all of them. Like I said, anything we need. So currently, our banking is done at Tri-City. I felt that we should look at opening a bank account at PDCU. They have specific business managers that would help us, and he would be assigned to our account. So if we need anything, he's literally downstairs. We can go directly downstairs and ask him for anything that we need. So I would like to move forward with that. I am open to discussing having still some of our banking done through Tri-City. We've been partners with them for a long time.
Tri-County?
Tri-County, thank
yeah.
you. We've been partners with them for a long time too, so I'm not suggesting that we pull everything out. I was going to suggest possibly leaving the CBD revenue sharing, what we have budgeted for that amount there, and move the rest of our banking over to PDCU.
If I could.
Yeah,
It would certainly simplify things and save some money if checks still come out of the same account that they do now, because we have a stack of checks about this deep that we just invested in. is there a possibility of doing a flip-flop so that checks still come from Tri-County? Or just a thought?
Sometimes they'll buy the checks, like the new bank will buy the old checks off of us. Or
Oh,
just
really?
replace
Oh.
them.
Okay.
Mhm. I don't know if they will.
Yeah, that's something we can look into for sure.
Okay. Works for me. That was the only thing, is
Yeah.
literally we just bought.
Yeah.
So,
So I guess at this point, I'd like to make a motion to open a bank account at PDCU and move the majority of the funds that we have over to there, leaving I'm gonna say, leaving $15,000 at Tri-County.
Where's the 15,000?
It's a little,
Coming
the CBD revenue sharing,
Oh,
we
right
have
here.
20,800 that is budgeted, so it's a little less than that.
Okay, so we have a motion to open up the second account and move the funds. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second by John. Any discussion or questions? Okay, do a roll call.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes,
Putnick,
Yes.
McLeod,
yes.
Rose, yes, 5-0.
All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. So we have board comments. One end or the other want to start?
I don't really have too much to say, except that I think downtown looks nice. It's fun to see all of the stores that put up something really special on the front of their stores. I think it looks really pretty. And to Carl for helping so many people out with the lighting and everything.
He's
It's
great.
just It's great
Yeah,
to see.
yeah,
Great
I
to see
agree.
that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll reiterate, thank you to Carl, did a lot of work on the lights. Also, just to point out, we're calling holiday decor. It's the first time this has ever been done, and a lot of it looks really, really good. We've certainly learned a lot of lessons. There's some things that, as always, can be learned upon and improved. But overall, as far as baskets and lighting and some of the decor on the ground, it's nice to see for the first time out of the gate. I think it's a good a good visual. And then I also want to mention words along the lines of what I had said earlier as far as this board. It's what I'm calling a lean board. I guess I used that term, and it is. It's a small board. There's only a couple not here tonight. But I want to point out, the board that is here is really working hard, and from what I've seen, a lot of the work being done is those of us just trying to keep up with what's been done previously by a larger board, and I would just like to commend the board for what everybody is doing. And then also the community. There's been transition this year, and I personally have had a lot of people reaching out from the community, asking what can be done, with compliments, with, hey, you guys are, trying to get this going again. And I just wanted to point that out. We really appreciate the encouragement that I've certainly heard from a lot
For
of people
sure.
out there. Always looking for creative discussions and,
Suggestions.
suggestions, thank you. If there are things out there, we need to know about it. So we're all trying and doing nothing but getting better. So hopefully, as the board grows, so will the whole community and the DDA as a whole. Thank you.
Great. I also want to say the downtown looks really good. We've had a lot of great events in the last week. The historic home tour was a huge success. The Santa parade and the tree lighting was pretty cool to see as well. Just a really great event. So it's nice to see everything coming together. I also want to thank the board. It's our last meeting of the year, so thank you to everybody for all your hard work this year, and looking forward to new and more exciting things going into next year. And then always just kind of commenting on what John's saying, you know, the more that the community is involved, the better. The more we can get, you know, the businesses and the merchants and the residents involved, it just makes everything better. So thank you to everybody who's jumped on board and helped out with different events and promotions and programs. I think next year is going to be a really great year.
I would like to also thank Carl and Andrew for all of the lights and decor downtown on the buildings. It looks great. And Sean for the baskets and all of the alleyways. Everything looks very festive, and it's really fun to drive downtown, especially at night, and see everything lit up. We will have one more meeting before Winterfest kicks off, but just so everybody knows, we are moving forward with that. As a reminder, it's not going to be just one day. Winterfest is going to be spread through about 4 or 5 weeks. We're going to have ice sculptures downtown, live ice sculpting. We've already confirmed the 5K for February 3rd. Igloos, yes, ordered igloos, so those will be in the park soon. And then musicians and some of those things, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Mark your calendars for that, watch for that. We'll be sending information out for that as well. Thank you.
No, I said I hate this.
Oh.
But, no, I'd also like to thank everybody for working so hard. It's been a tough year. You know, we had a lot of obstacles to overcome, but I feel like, you know, we're getting there, we're landing on our feet, and we will get there. And we do have some open seats. So, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Perfect. Motion by McLeod,
I'll second.
second by Lee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.